This is a picture of an area where I used to play as a child. It's in Sudbury, Ontario, where I was born and where I grew up. I left when I was 18, and we used to say playing up in the rocks, because it's a mining town, and they mine nickel and copper. So my first experience of the landscape was of the moon. The American astronauts came to Sudbury to practice walking on the moon because it had a very similar topography. But this is actually a trick. This is not a river. It's a tiny little stream that you could just walk over very easily. It's, you know how photography lies. Well, it's not really a lie, but it's more of a fib, a little baby lie in this case, because this is not a river. It looks like a river, but it's actually quite small. And this is the oxidized water that comes from what we call tailings, the waste material of the nickel mine. And that waste material oxidizes, and the water, as it touches, turns red. I would not use the word astonish or amaze. Those tend to be artists that I'm not really interested in. But to seduce, yes. To make you interested in the subject matter, make you care about it, all of us are different. And some of us can be convinced with a logical argument. And some of us need to be convinced aesthetically, because we have different, our brains are organized differently. I need to be seduced aesthetically in order to care about certain things. And because I'm so used to looking at art and listening to artists, or looking at artists and being convinced by them. So this is, different mentalities require different approaches. And because the subject matter of Edward Burtynsky's work is so crucial, it's about what we've done to our habitat in order to be 8 billion people on this planet. This planet is our only habitat. I think it's crazy to think, well, we can always move to another. This is not like politics where you don't like the politician, you just move to another country, which is always a bad idea anyway. We can't leave this habitat. We can't leave this planet. We're only designed to live here. So this is the most crucial subject, is how are we going to move forward and not keep damaging our habitat. So everyone needs to be an ecologist. And how do you get everyone to be an ecologist? You find different ways to get different people, different mentalities interested. And this is one of the ways that I think is very effective, the aesthetic way, the seduction of beauty. So through the beauty, you read about the subject and you realize, oh, it's not a beautiful subject. It's actually quite dangerous, quite ugly, or it's a very interesting way to grow food that is not the old-fashioned way. There are photographs of very good, sustainable agricultural practices in this exhibition. There are photographs of mines that are mining lithium, for example, which is recyclable. It's like everything that's good, it has a dangerous side because it explodes, it catches fire. It's very dangerous to mine it. But once you have it captured, you can recharge these lithium batteries endlessly. So this is good for the green revolution. It's good for sustainability. And so some of these images are of lithium mines. But all of this information is stuff that everyone really should know. And this is one way to get this information that is effective, I think, is through beautiful pictures. The choice of these images and the way they're displayed in all of the rooms, the first room, the theme is abstraction. And I've chosen photographs that look like abstract paintings. They don't look like the world. They don't look like anything you've seen very often. They look very much like abstract paintings. And because they're photographs of real things, you're curious about what you're looking at, and you will read the label and you will learn about coal mining and how even a mine that has stopped mining is still continuing to create methane, which causes greenhouse gases. So you're learning these things as you're seduced by the beauty. But breaking the narrative that you can't tell a story from one photograph to the other because each photograph is different and the logic is purely aesthetic, forces you to create your own narrative and to learn about these things by reading the labels. And the labels are not too long. They're just enough information to make you curious. And then we move into themes, but they're not the artist themes. The artist themes were water, oil, China, Africa. These themes are extraction, how we get things out of the earth, manufacturing and infrastructure, agriculture and waste. So these are much larger themes, and they're so large that I was able to borrow works from different body of works, and so each one of these themes is presented like the first one, which is that there's no real connection between any of these images except for the larger connection, which is the one of the theme agriculture, for example. But I'm not telling a story with this selection of photographs. I've made a beautiful, seductive room where you learn about the various forms of contemporary and very ancient agriculture also, in the case of a diptych of China, a sustainable way of growing that we've been growing in China for 1,000 years. So that's really the strategy of the exhibition, and the point is to have a wonderful experience of beauty and of wonder, but also to come out more knowledgeable and maybe more responsible about how you as a citizen, as a person living in this world, should behave going forward and should know about how we're living and how we should be living.